Okay, 991.2 GT3 RS. I've had this car for what, 6 or 7 months now. It hasn't been detailed. I know that sounds ridiculous, but my life was a little out of control from traveling around all over the place. So we're going to dig into this car, and we're going to dig into it deeply. And the concept of this is going to be a little different. We're going to try some time lapses, some different angles, some different lighting, as well as some involving some experts on this project. I don't know how to do PPF, so my friend Ryan Burrows at Auto Paint Guard in Tampa is going to be tackling that. Tomorrow, my friend Billy and Gabe from Presidential Automotive Detail are coming up to help correct it. The car is going to be shipped down to Tampa for Billy to finish the correction job, as well as sharing the process of PPF installation with Ryan on his YouTube channel. So right now you're going to want to go subscribe to the Presidential Automotive Detailing channel, so that way you can follow along with the extra steps of the process. We're going to talk about PPF. I'm going to remove the PPF here today. Tonight, I'm going to decontaminate the car in preparation for Billy and Gabe coming up. Then we're going to fully correct the car. I'm assuming it's going to take a few steps. And then, of course, the car will be picked up and shipped down to Tampa, which is about 2 hours from here. And then Ryan Burrows is going to dial in the car using S-Tech PPF. That's S-Tech DynaShield. And then we're going to top that with the new G-Technic Halo coating. And so you're going to want to make sure to subscribe to Billy's channel. We'll be kind of passing the ball back and forth. When the car comes back to me, that's when we'll be doing my new wheels. These are Vossen S21 RS in very specific GT3 RS offsets. And so the exterior of the GT3 RS is about to get legit. First thing we're going to tackle is PPF removal. That'll be in this video here today, but make sure to stay subscribed, stay tuned. There's going to be lots of episodes, lots of different detail on how we're going to correct this car and perfect it. Something I should have done day one, month one, but we're getting it done now. So it makes it sweeter knowing that we've been suffering with paint that isn't perfect for the last few months. So let's get started. Okay, so this car, I had a little brochure that came with it. This is maybe a little bit better than dealership grade XPEL PPF install. The front clip is done, and a few other areas I'm going to show you in a minute. But we're going to remove all of this so that we can correct it. This will be the first car I've done with S-Tech DynaShield, but the gloss and clarity of S-Tech is almost unexplainable. And so we're going to be tackling that for the first time. Ryan actually is a really significant XPEL and SunTech installation dealer. I asked him to put on S-Tech DynaShield. It'll be his first experience with it from what I know, and it'll be my first experience with it. My friend John Clevin and Howard from S-Tech USA were kind enough to send a roll down to us so that we could get the whole car done. So let me show you what we have, and then we'll talk about the products that I'm going to use to remove it, and then we'll get into the removal process. So the front bumper, the front fender, the hood, the front bumper, the headlights are done, which I'm a little nervous about removing. These are about $3,500 a piece to replace, so I'm hoping that we can steam this off. We also have the mirror caps are done. Nothing on the roof or the A-pillars have PPF. And then we have the front of the rocker run all the way down here to behind the front wheel. And then we also have a little bit here on the rear bumper. The other thing I'm going to remove today is the Porsche badge on here because I hate it. So the Porsche nomenclature, I'm going to remove that. We'll keep the rear GT3 RS logo off. But that's what we have to remove here today in order to prepare to decontaminate the car for preparation to polish. So the PPF removal should be knock on something. Should be relatively simple to do. This has been on the car, it's a 2019, so probably a year. And so I shouldn't need a lot of stuff. First thing, the most important thing is the steamer. This is a Dupre Tosca. and I don't use any of the attachments other than just the gun, and I'm going to set it to 1, 2, 3, the setting of whatever you call that, 3 steam, if you will. It's at roughly 290 degrees right now, and that's what we're going to use to help remove the PPF. Hopefully, I don't need this. If we take our time and are methodical and meticulous about this, I shouldn't be leaving any glue behind, especially since this is a newer XPEL film. We should be able to get it off, hopefully, relatively cleanly. But if there are some areas of glue residue, that's where we're going to have to break out Tarex. The only other thing we'll be using for this is I've just tested this out, or we're just testing this out, of putting the ProLock power cord, which is a locking power cord, inside of my Cox hose reels. So we'll have these. I now have them on all 4 corners of the car. We can use for our lighting, for the video, and also for the Dupre. So as I'm dragging it around, this won't come undone, which is just a nice thing to have. This is the fill bottle. The way that the Dupre works is, let's say if we run out of water, I should be able to do pretty much this whole project without a refill. But if you do run out of water, this has a head that presses down. Basically, you take this cap off, push down, and load it up. It takes about 2.5, 3 of these bottles to fill up completely. It's been heating up here. It takes about 10 minutes to heat up, and then we're ready to go. So let's start on the hood, the front trunk lid, and let's remove that first, and then we'll tackle the headlights. Again, I'm nervous about the headlights, so I want to get my process down on how quickly I can remove before I tackle the headlights, because there is a risk we delaminate the headlight and either have to sand it down and it'll never be the same and re-clear it, or what I would probably do if it's ruined is I'll probably just take out a small loan and replace it. So let's get set up. I'm gonna get the camera set up and we'll get started removing the hood. Okay, I was thinking about this. How do I want to do this? They did some rather wonky, but it is edge wrapped to some extent. I'd like to see the edge wrapped all the way over the edge. But I'm going to put in this Kamikaze. I think Esoteric still has these, but this is a Kamikaze hood prop. And so we'll just put this in place. That way, I think that's going to work. I don't like how, if you're pushing down polishing, this certainly works well. Let's see here. I like how it's not. There we go. Okay, that's better. Let's see. While I'm pulling on this, we'll see how this goes. So I want to start at an edge, but first I want to heat it up. Again, I want to manage myself here. I don't want to move too quickly and end up leaving a bunch of adhesive, because the adhesive is a pain in the butt to get off. But I do want to get all the PPF off before we do the decon. So you might be asking why removing perfectly fine PPF, because it's not great. I mean, it's okay. The reason why I don't choose XPEL over the others is a lot more orange peel, a lot less clarity than SunTech. Maybe not a lot less, but noticeably different. And then S-Tech is something I'm really excited to use for the first time. Once I get started, this should come off in big chunks. And then I find it better to heat up, it doesn't do any good to heat underneath here. I want to heat up the adhesive ahead of where I'm pulling. And actually, come to think of it, it'll probably be better to, probably be smarter to pull that way. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. It'd be interesting to see. I'm going to get a light out after this to see if they corrected this car before putting PPF on it. They certainly didn't coat the car. There's no coating on it, so my guess is they just PPF right over top of the factory finish. What a difference in the adhesive. If you watched me do the Raptor, the adhesive on this newer film is so much better. The Raptor was probably an old 3M film from 7-8 years ago. This is so much nicer. The adhesive is coming right off with the film. It took me longer to remove the adhesive on the Raptor than it did to actually do the install. Or the removal. And when you get to see the white paint versus the yellow, it makes you want to not do PPF at all. And the only reason I do it on this car is because I take it to the mountains and it gets pelted. No residue left behind yet. All right, so I'm going to continue this process and we'll come back to you in a minute and show you the wrap up of this, and then I'll jump into the headlights. All right, so finish that. You can see one of the real inherent disadvantages of PPF is, I mean, we have a nice, super white. Yeah, this was clearly not corrected beforehand. I can see some water spots and things. But the difference between the fender and the hood, and you can just see the yellow. You know, there's some dirt because I didn't wash the car prior because I knew we were going to be washing it for decon. But you lose some of the depth and clarity. So if you can help it, I want to try to avoid PPF as much as possible. Now I'm going to make another really unpopular move. The RS uses a sticker here, which I think is goofy. Apparently I'm in the extreme minority of believing it's goofy. I know I'm going to take lots of heat for this, but I'm about to pull this off and it's not going back on. I like the cleanliness of the hood without some badge on front of it. I know it's a Porsche. Yeah. A little bit of adhesive left there. We'll have to go back after decon and we'll be checking our adhesive. But anybody want that $100 sticker? It saves weight. All right, so let's tackle the headlights. So this is what I'm feeling less nervous. I think this is going to come off no problem. The big question would be, what if this was on for 2 or 3 years? How would it come off? I think we're going to be safe. I'm just going to take my time, try not to exert too much pressure. Because the other thing you have to remember with a Porsche headlight, I've seen it done several times now, where the film has to be stretched in order to contour so the fingers come out. And so it's basically grabbing and pulling and squeezing on the headlight. And so that's where over time, at least older Porsche headlights would delaminate from some of the older films. think we're going to be safe. Nice and slow. Very methodical. You know, like on the hood where I'm grabbing and pulling, because I was able to do that because the adhesive was removing easily. This I'm taking quite a bit more precaution. Kind of walk it down the headlight. I think we're okay. There's some residual. I'm going to try taking a little bit of eraser. I think you're trying to make sure you pull it as evenly as possible. I'm just seeing some lines from removal. I wonder if that's a little bit of adhesive. Let's try a little bit of Tarex here. Get out of here. Good. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Awesome. No issues. All right, so that's how you remove it on the headlight. I'm gonna keep working around the whole car, and we'll grab you some beauty shots, and I'll hit you up when we get to the back to pull off the Porsche emblem. So yeah, PPF films, you know, there are many different types. Again, my preference has always been SunTech Ultra. We're removing this XPEL. XPEL has the best cuts in the industry, or the best templates, I should say, available. So that's why they get the most press. They've done the best job of building the best infrastructure. But there are some new games in town. S-Tech is what we're going to be putting on this, which has quite a bit more clarity, less orange peel. It's just I think, a better film. So that's what we'll be putting on this car. So what you're going to see when we do the new PPF application, there was very strategic areas that were, you know, very commonly covered on this car. The new application is going to be cover every square inch. The pros and cons to that are, you know, the pro is the fact that all the panels will match. The con is that it costs a lot, and we'll have more edges for potential for edge lift. But I chose to do the whole car, whereas what we're peeling off here is just sections of it. You know, I know this is like the Porsche, you know, 40, 50-year-old white dad thing to have, but I hate this crap. I hate all this lettering and livery and all this junk, so I'm pulling this off immediately. leaving all kinds of adhesive behind. We're gonna have to get the Tarex out, but yeah, this will not be going back on. But yet, I am the cool dad that likes carbon fiber exposed, so to each his own. So to all the people who say I don't make fun of Porsche guys, I probably do way more. Because I talk about Porsches more often, but you Corvette guys have so much more to make fun of. I can't help myself. Yeah, these are not coming off as easily, and this is going to take a lot of adhesive removal. My fingers are about done. Gee whiz. Crap, there's a lot of letters in Porsche. Holy moly, what a pain. Why would they use that kind of adhesive? Not even halfway there. All right, so that's a wrap. Get it? Get it, Mike? Yeah, that's PPF removal. My fingers are raw. I ripped through a couple of my fingertips on the left-hand side. All the little tips here, my fingers are all jacked up. Tonight I'm gonna decon, so I might go home and grab some dinner and then come back and decon the car. I'm really disappointed. That darn vinyl on the back took me like an hour and a half. And you know, I have to use my thumbnail, so it's all scratched up. I might have to sand the rear spoiler. That really disappoints me. I thought for sure that vinyl would have come right off. It's terrible. It was worse than taking off an emblem. But the car looks good. It certainly wasn't polished before. They put PPF on it, so we're gonna have to polish the thing. But it's gonna be a pretty basic project. I'm gonna decon it. I'm not gonna worry about the wheels because we're gonna remove the wheels. I'll be coating and prepping the new Vossen wheels for this. Same stock sizes. I think the offsets are maybe a little bit more aggressive than stock, but the sizing of the tires is the same as stock. So that's a wrap on the removal of the PPF. Next up, decon. So stay tuned for that episode. Thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. This is gonna be a big project. Catch you soon.